3D dot game Heroes, developed by Silicon Studios and published by Atlas. It's a game specifically targeted for people who are looking for a retro-style adventure. But does it live up to the names of gaming's forefathers? Well, let's find out. The game starts out with an abilities prologue. It's an effective way to start. It allows players to learn the basic controls with minimal danger. It helps set up the plot for the game. And it establishes an additional theme for the adventure: getting stronger. You, the player, lost your character's awesome powers, and you'd want them back. In fact, you'd probably like to improve on them. It's a good framing device that motivates you, the player, to keep playing, to surpass the awesome power that they had to begin with. Once out of the prologue, you play as whoever you want. The game provides players with a character editor, so you can play as whoever you want, which in turn helps put players in the shoes of their character. And if you're not artistically inclined, the game's got you covered as well. They provide a handful of pre-made characters and allow players to download custom characters online. The story places tongue firmly in cheek, which is refreshing. It starts out with the king declaring 2D games to be unpopular, and converts his entire kingdom of Dotnia into 3D. However, the princess is now missing, and a dark priest threatens the kingdom, so it's up to you to collect the 6 magical MacGuffins and save the kingdom, as well as save 3 optional fairies, which in turn help save the princess. Yes, they made a Hydlide reference, to prove that Hydlide would have been good if it weren't Hydlide, but that's not the only reference they make. The game is littered with them. The overall aesthetic of the game is bright, colorful, and of high contrast, so there's never a moment where you'll miss seeing an enemy attacking you just because it matches the background. The lighting is fitting of the environments, and the voxel artistic style supports the narrative and sets a retro feel for the entire world of Dotnia. There's also a nice blur effect on the overworld, which helps differentiate separate areas from the one you're currently in. The sound design is quite well done. All of the songs on the soundtrack feel somewhat minimalist and true to a retro nature. They're all quite upbeat and catchy, and help emphasize the retro style. The sound effects also are fairly minimalist, but they serve their purpose while not being terribly grandiose, which seems to be a deliberate choice to help emphasize the aesthetic and narrative that the world tries to set up. The basic controls are fairly easy to pick up and play. Exploration mechanics are fairly clear and easy to learn, and while dungeon designs incorporate new puzzles based on the equipment you'll find within, they never stray too far from the basics you'll learn early on. The world of Dotnia is massive, and fraught with secrets and hidden areas, which will open up with more equipment you find and utilize. Combat mechanics are easy to pick up as well. You have your sword, and whatever special equipment you can find equipped to your second inventory slot. Killing enemies is incredibly satisfying. Whenever you kill something, they explode into the blocks they're comprised of and just rain to the ground. The main unique combat mechanic of this game are the swords that you can collect. At full health, your sword will increase to the size of Texas to clear rooms. And while initially this seems somewhat game-breaking, there are many enemies who can block or avoid your sword altogether. It's also very easy to lose this power, so it's not really the best approach to all situations. You can also upgrade each sword individually to increase their power and size. As well, each of the 24 swords you can collect have their own unique characteristics. For added replayability, the game has 2 endings, 3 minigames, 3 different play modes, a near infinite number of playable characters, as well as your standard collection of true achievements. So this game will hold your attention for a while, if you let it. The only real detractor I've found with this game is that certain side quests require you to revisit NPCs every time you clear a dungeon, and if you miss them once, you get locked out of that side quest, which in turn costs you a sword in the end. That's annoying. Just because you forgot to babysit the NPC, they decide to go lick the nearest electrical outlet and you have to pay for it. Ultimately, it's an easy game to recommend if you're a fan of classic adventure games. If you've never played one, it's not a bad place to start either. It's rather forgiving, and it's easy to pick up and fun to play, and it scratches that nostalgic itch, so long as you're willing to forgive a few idiosyncrasies with the side quest structure anyway. the game was designed to recall memories of adventures past. It feels like it was made with a lot of love and was just executed well.